Y'all get ready?
Yes, you get ready.
If you want the latest news in the streets, join us and tune in for the tea. Breaking news with integrity. So tell your friends and your family. It's the Lovelyti TV show, bringing you good tea and good vibes. It's the Lovelyti TV show. Be sure to share, like, and subscribe.
Hey tea sippers, happy Friday. I hope everybody's doing good today. So I want to come on here and talk about this video that's going viral all over TikTok right now. People are literally having whole debates back and forth about these kids. So what's going down is basically there's a club in DC, and initially they were just catering to adults. You could go there, party, have a good old funky time, but now they decided to change up their strategy, and I'm assuming it's because they may not be making as much money as they were making at one point in time, and they're trying to open up their services. So what's going down is that basically they have opened up their services to now start having children's brunches. But this isn't just any ordinary kids brunch. These kids look like they're literally in a music video. So a lot of people are really upset about this. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the video of the club when the adults are in there partying, and then I'm going to show you guys the brunch for when the babies come through the very next day.
Make that ass clap, make it snap, talk to me, make that ass clap, make it snap, talk to me.
So as you see on Saturdays, they make that ass clap, okay? You see the adults bent over, popping bottles, having a good old funky time, as adults should be having. But the problem is they do kids brunches on Sundays, and the scene is not too much different, okay? I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the kids brunch right here.
So yesterday, Upper Room hosted its first ever kids brunch. And let's just say the kids did not come to play, okay? With the bottle popping, all the dancing, champagne pouring, apple cider, they had a ball. The food was amazing, the vibes were crazy, and I can't wait to see you guys next week. I almost forgot my nephews to spend my lease with some bottles to the table. Okay.
So let me go ahead and run that back. First of all, these babies jump out of a Tesla truck. This literally looks like a hip hop video. They are jumping out of a Tesla truck. Look at this.
So yesterday, Upper Room hosted its first ever kids brunch.
So this is the issue that people are having with the video, is the fact that these kids are popping bottles, which is clearly sparkling apple cider, sparkling champagne. It's not real liquor. You can, get them around Thanksgiving. It's a non-alcoholic liquor or wine. And so people are not feeling the fact that these kids are so young and they're popping bottles. And you even hear her say that they're bringing bottles out for the kids.
Champagne pouring. I almost forgot my nephews to spend my lease with some bottles to the table.
All right, so you guys just saw that video. So a lot of people are also bothered with the fact that, it said Turn Up Brunch. The girls that were bringing the so-called bottles to the table had on crop tops. Looked like a little kiddie music video. So this is causing a lot of debate on TikTok. We're going to go ahead and watch what people have to say about the situation right here.
So apparently there is this lounge in DC that had their first ever kids brunch recently, and basically, I'm gonna be honest with you, it's giving restaurant, but it's also giving like lounge nightclub environment. And so basically in the video, the kids are literally acting like adults. Of course these are non-alcoholic drinks, sparkling cider, sparkling grape juice, things like that. But the way that they are, doing the cheers with the plastic cups and the stuff that's on the screens, it just like the environment is not really giving kid friendly. It's giving like, hey, how can we make more profit? And in doing so, it adds to this ongoing situation of the adultification of our children. When people are saying things like, oh, these kids are growing up so fast, and why are they acting so old, and why are they acting like this at 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13 years old, you have to think about what the parents are doing. Now, this is not a this is not to like come down on the parents who are participating in this. It's more so calling for them to really do the introspective on, hey, do you really want your kids to emulate nightclub culture? Now, granted, We will all be honest here, myself included. You know, when I was a kid, yes, me and my friends, we drank sparkling apple cider and sparkling grape juice at our home. And, you know, we would pretend like, you know, oh, we're drinking alcohol, we're drinking champagne, we're drinking wine, even though it wasn't that. But again, the environment, we were at home. We weren't at an establishment that, again, is trying to give off restaurant, but the inside, the interior is giving nightclub lounge that's just trying to profit and make more money by any means necessary. Because in order to combat the adultification of our children, we have to not put them in situations and predicaments where they start to emulate behavior that they should not be emulating at such a young age. Even down to how children are being dressed these days. You know, gone are the days where you have stores that literally would be dedicated to only children. Gone are those days. I believe Claire's is still around. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they're only really found in malls for the most part. And we know that malls in America across, you know, the nation are definitely and unfortunately.
He is right. There's not a lot of kids' clothing stores anymore. Like, I remember Justice for little girls. I think that store is out of business. You know, there used to be Osh Gosh Bagosh, you know, for little kids as well, Carter's. You don't see a lot of those, like, you know, stores anymore. It's like everything now. I mean, a lot of people are getting their kids' clothes on Fashion Nova. You know, we see kids who are dressed in Fashion Nova outfits all the time on Instagram. And I do believe that there is an adultification of children, but it's not just Black children. I think it's just children in general. And I think the problem is there's no in-between stage for kids. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit further.
On the decline. So, you know, you have that going on, but it's like, yo, the kids really don't have much of anything that's like dedicated and geared towards them these days. I also feel like in the same breath that if you're going to do a kids styled brunch, you need to ensure that the environment is kid friendly. You need to ensure that the environment is kid friendly and that you are not, you know, programming them to emulate this behavior at such a young age. They should not be acting like the adults who are in their lives. We have to wake that up.
So he made some really good points, and that's what it is. These kids are emulating what they see in rap videos. They're emulating their parents. Again, these are babies, so I'm not about to tear into them. You know what I mean? That's on the parents that allowed this. I don't think it was anything too bad because I've covered videos of kids acting grown before, you know, kids twerking and popping. I've done videos of, you know, fathers who have got their kids, you know, stripper lap dances when the kids were like 10 and under. So there's been a lot of viral fuckery over the years that I've covered. But I wanted to address the part about that there's no in-between stage anymore for these kids. When we were growing up, you know, there were so many shows that were available for us to watch. There were songs, there were entertainers that were geared towards tweens, that were geared towards kids between the ages of 8 and 13 years old. You know, we had all types of things like Snick on Nickelodeon. We had Salute Your Shorts. We had all that. You know, there was a lot of like, you know, just really kids shows on Nickelodeon, on the Disney Channel. We had the Mickey Mouse Club. And then on top of that, we also had entertainers that were geared towards children. You know, we had Justin Timberlake when he was a kid singing, Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera. We had The Boys. We had ABC. You know, Aisha, you are, you know what I mean? We had all that stuff growing up. Even Raven Simone was a child, you know, rapper / singer back in the day. And I think part of that is because Hollywood is dying. There's been a lot of these sex scandals. You know, our childhood has literally been ruined because half the kids that were on Nickelodeon and on these shows, it's come out that they were abused. You know, so it's almost like the industry is scared to do any type of kids programming because they don't want anything to come out where there's potential abuse. So what happens is that there's no in-between stage for children, and what they're watching is social media influencers. This is why you have 10-year-old Sephora kids. This is why you have kids who are literally 8 years old. Skin is smooth as butter, honey. Talking about, welcome to my channel. I'm going to do my skincare routine. What skincare routine?
Hey guys, it's Adriana, and today I'm going to be trying Bubble.
I love the enthusiasm with your skincare routine, but come on, you're 9 years old. You just need to stick with the basics.
You literally should be washing your face with some Dove soap, putting on some, you know, shea butter and going to bed. These kids literally have like, 5 and 6 steps for skincare, and they're under the age of 13. So I definitely agree that there is an adultification of our kids, and it's sad. And I think part of that is that they're emulating social media. They're emulating music videos. They're emulating things that they see the adults around them do. And we're kind of allowing that because there's no alternative. There's no alternative kids programming, really. There's no alternative, singers for that in-between stage. That's what these kids are. These kids aren't babies watching Gracie's Corner. These kids look to be between the ages of 8 to probably 12 years old. And that in-between stage is not really there like it once was.
Okay, so there's absolutely 110% a video of a place called the Upper Room hosting a kids brunch. I'm going to try to pin the video in the description of this video so that you see the correct video. Because if you're like me, when you thought of kids brunch, you thought of a cutesy little brunch thing with, pancake appetizers, juice, just like, I was just thinking pink, bitch. Just cute and florally and pink and, kids being kids. If you've seen the actual video, that's not that. That's not that. That is a club. That is kids in a club, okay? Now, brunches can be a turn-up point for adults, but that's not what I think of when I say kids brunch. And this is in no way shaming that parent. By all means, if you like it, I love it, boo-boo. If that's how you want to raise your kids, you do that. That's you. But personally, and this is just me speaking for me and the people that live under this motherfucker, I have a strict rule about keeping children. And that doesn't mean I don't keep up with the times. Like, I'm going to take Amore to go get her nails done, little mani-pedi, cutesy things. Like, we're going to go have a girls' brunch, a tea, you know what I'm saying? We're going to go do all of those things. So it's not that people who disagree are dated. There's just a philosophy of keeping children innocent because the entire world is going to try to over-sexualize your children and grow them the fuck up. And I feel that it's my job as a parent to protect and shield my children for as long as I can.
Okay, someone finally tagged me in the video of the kids brunch that everyone else is talking about, so I could finally see it. And I'm just so curious, how many people's parents bought them grape wine or sparkling cider for New Year's Eve? Because mine did. My parents made me a virgin margarita every time they had a margarita. Do I do that with my kids? No. But do you know how realistic those bottles actually look to real alcohol bottles? Because they did. Would I send my kid to this brunch? Probably not. These kids were not consuming actual alcohol. Okay, they're playing like they're in a club. They could have saw that on YouTube or something, okay? Like, nobody's letting them in a real club. These are children. I don't know. Maybe it's just me and because I'm a young mom. I don't know.
I just really want to quickly talk about the whole Upper Room brunch in DC with the kids, This is not the video you think it is. I am not about to condemn them. I'm actually going to do the opposite. Quick disclaimer, I'm from PG. I don't know these people at all. They had a chaperone watching them the entire time. They weren't twerking. They weren't, throwing money. There was no strippers. There was just them, fake apple cider, good food, obviously, and vibes. I just say, before we throw rocks, let's look in our own houses. I literally was like 10, 11 at Go-Go's with my family on family night. And we were at the Go-Go's and there were kids in sections twerking, not twerking, maybe twerking, popping, shall I say, jumping on the couches, dancing on the couches, screaming, just as you would do in the clubs. Like, it was in a controlled environment. I was not one of those people. I'm not going to sit up here in front. I was very shy, but my godbrothers, my cousins, all of them were like partying hard, and it just wasn't me. This goes all to say that none of us became party addicts. None of us have any children. All of us went to college, and it was actually a really good thing for us, and I'll tell you why. When you open your children up to new environments, it helps them in the future, because when we got older, partying was nothing to us. It never gave like, oh my god, this is my first party, I'm about to see her act out, or oh, I'm in the club for the first time, let me act crazy. Like, no, it was nothing to us. And it was like, we've been here before, we did this. It's still fun, don't get me wrong, but we know how to act, and we're not going to go crazy because we've been doing this. It's kind of like when you're not sheltered and when you let your children party, it kind of helps them. They don't go to college and wild out when you're not around, because they helped us navigate life early on. Like, it was just nothing. It was like fun. We were all having fun at the go-go. I know there were times where like we would pop champagne, but it's really just apple cider, and we would act drunk because we don't know any better. But it was just funny to the adults. Like, and then our guys are like, why can't they just go to Chuck E. Cheese or Dave & Buster's? Those places are tired sometimes. I know the ones in DMV, they stink. The food is not always that good. And it's like, why can't your children enjoy new environments anyway? Another thing is that I literally just saw this girl. She had like a bartender at her 7-year-old's birthday party. They were drinking mocktails. Literally, these drinks look like alcoholic drinks, but they were obviously mocktails. And it's like, what's the difference between these two? They see their parents are drinking, so they have one.
Y'all are the main reason why I'm so afraid to let my child go to public school. I just saw the Upper Room Brunch video, and let me tell you something. I am highly disappointed and disgusted. Why are we so obsessed with bringing kids into adult-like spaces? Why are kids standing on the furniture? Why are kids popping bottles? Why are kids acting like what they think adults do in clubs or at brunch? What brunch y'all be going to? What brunch do y'all be going to? Because none of my brunches end up like that. We don't be standing on the sofas. We don't be down hitting bitches on the ass. We don't, wait, what? I don't even go to brunches that are in lounges. Would I ever let my child attend a brunch that is at a club lounge? Hell no. Do I think anybody in her school that she goes to, because my child goes to private school, that she goes to will have a brunch there? Hell no. And if it is, you're not going. You're not going. The fact that a white woman got on here and she said, now, would I take my kids there? No, but I don't see anything wrong with it because it's niggas niggering. Nobody want to be around that shit.
Not niggas niggering.
And not to talk about that, mom, or whatever you feel comfortable to do for your child, you go ahead and you do it, child. That's bottle popping, bottle service, jumping on couches, shooting the money gun in the air, whatever. If that's what you want to do with your child, is what you do. But that, as far as for me in my house, my child will remain a child until she is like probably 20.
Nobody asked me, but I'm going to share my thoughts on that Upper Room Kids Brunch situation because I actually don't mind that idea, and here's why. First things first, it's not like it was during the same hours that, you know, a regular club would be operating. So come on now, let's use our brains. They're eating breakfast, they're listening to music. Now, as far as the music selection, I don't know if it had curse words or not, but that's up to the parents. I would hope that they played the edited versions of the songs, you know, the radio versions of the songs, the versions that the kids listen to in the car. You know what? Half these kids are listening to explicit music anyway. So don't even be on your high horse and act like your kids aren't listening to explicit music. I mean,
seeing the video of the Upper Room and those children having a little mini brunch is exactly why I'm okay with not allowing my child to hang out around your children. You guys do not want to raise kids anymore, and it's fucking disgusting. You want to raise friends. You want to have your children adults at an early age instead of being a good parent and raising them like a child is supposed to be raised. Like a fucking child. Not a friend, not an adult, but a child. I don't think y'all realize that skipping the child phase adultifies your children and can potentially sexualize your children. You guys are skipping that phase, that Justice phase, that Claire's phase, and going straight to fucking Fashion Nova. Y'all are adultifying children. Y'all are exposing them to alcohol, sex, drugs, and it's really fucking annoying raising a child in this alpha generation. Because I don't want my kid around y'all's. My son is actually learning things he shouldn't be learning from other children because y'all are such bad parents that you teach your children things at too early of an age. Why the fuck? My son doesn't know anything about no fucking brunch, no liquor, no drugs. He don't know none of that. None of that. But I bet you he'll learn it before I could teach him, because y'all are such bad fucking parents. It's actually really disgusting.
Ooh, we talk about judgmental, honey. She says she wants smoke with all the parents in DC. Don't come around her and her child. But, you know, it's been a lot of varying opinions on this whole situation. Some people don't see the big deal in it. They feel like folks are overreacting. Other folks feel like, no, this is too much. We need to stop adultifying children and putting them in adult situations.
I'm sorry, but having kids mimicking adult behaviors in an adult setting is very tasteless and very much tacky. I don't know what the upper room was thinking with that whole kids brunch, but it don't give. Let kids be kids. Like, Chuck E. Cheese don't host birthday parties anymore. I'm very much confused as to why they thought that was a good idea. It's cool to want to do something for the kids, but let it be kid friendly. Why are kids imitating adult behavior, standing up on couches, popping bottles? Like, what? No, that just don't give, and that's not appropriate at all. Kids should not be exposed to these settings. There's a reason why clubs have an age limit, because kids are not supposed to be there. Kids are not supposed to be exposed to these behaviors and mimicking these behaviors. And it's our jobs as adults to do our best to block them from it. It's like, don't shelter them. Let them know it exists. But to actively allow them to engage in these behaviors, very irresponsible. Let's not make this a thing. But y'all know black people, they're gonna make it a thing. But I'm not here for it. It needs to stop right here. Like, it needs to stop. That's not cool. That's not cute.
I don't see anything wrong with the Upper Room's kids brunch. When I first heard about it, I only seen it from another creator making a video of outrage about it, and then I kept seeing multiple more creators making a video of outrage about it, but I wasn't seeing the actual video of the kids at the brunch. So I just went ahead and looked it up, and y'all, I don't know if I'm seeing the wrong video, but the video is literally the kids at brunch having a good time. I see a lot of takes on the adultification of kids and kids growing up too fast. I see a lot of people saying that kids shouldn't even know what happens at a brunch or what a brunch is. I don't understand that why y'all act like y'all never been kids before. When I was a kid, I used to always play. Y'all remember those little white candies we had? I used to act like I was smoking cigarettes because my mama used to smoke cigarettes. Honestly, cigarettes. I wish we had one in Chicago, because me and my sister, I feel like we would definitely take our kids to that. Like, honestly, if you think about it, it's not a lot of activities for older kids to do these days. Yes, they can go to Dave & Buster's. Yes, they can go to Chuck E. Cheese. But literally, that's all like the same shit for real. There isn't spaces for kids to just go and have fun and turn up with their friends and party and dance. And people were saying, oh, they're dancing on the tables, they're dancing on the couches. Well, they can't dance on tables and couches at home. Like, they'll get their ass whooped. So having an environment where they can go and let loose and just be children. And then everybody was like, oh, it wasn't even no kid appropriate music playing. First of all, as long as the music was the clean version, I don't really see the problem. I know that y'all are not telling me that y'all never listen to the radio in y'all car with y'all kids. I'm not a Kids Bop mom. I'm not about to be listening to that any and everywhere I go. Of course, I like to make sure that the music isn't super vulgar or anything like that. But if it's a cuss word or two in there, I'm not tripping on that. Mind you, my daughter is 8 years old. She's heard cuss words before. Her granny cussed like a sailor. I just feel like I would rather my kid go and have some adult supervised fun than try to sneak and do it later. Then I seen people saying, well, did the kids even want this kind of party? I'm sure that the kids did. My daughter sees me go to brunch all the time, and she wants to come with me. Obviously, she cannot come to brunch with me, but if I could take her to a brunch that was appropriate for her, then why not? I feel like everybody is focusing on the lit brunch part and not the kid-friendly lit brunch part. I think sometimes as adults, we can have the perception of the world that we have because we've seen so much of it. But you got to remember, these are children. They don't understand the concept of popping bottles. And have we not heard of Welch's? It's sparkling juice, y'all. My daughter just asked them at New Year's Eve. It's not that serious. Everything don't gotta be adultifying children, and I feel like y'all only do this to black children. It stresses me out, it drives me crazy, and I wish that y'all would just let kids be kids. Y'all are the ones adultifying them. But maybe I'm just a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad.
Upper Room DC situation with them hosting events for children in an adult setting. I think the uproar and the problem is when we are on social media, we tend to see what adults do at brunch, how they are drinking, partying, acting the music they listen to, and how they are entertaining themselves. So the thought of kids being in the same environment is what has people upset. For me personally, I would not subject my daughter to that kind of environment unless I was there to see exactly what's going on. Like, the idea or the thought of kids, little girls pretending as bottle girls don't sit well with me, because bottle girls are usually sexualized while we having kids do that. But if the environment is just kids eating, making TikToks, doing things of that nature, I don't see no harm in it. For the most part, y'all just need to be aware of where y'all taking y'all kids at. Stop just dropping your kids off and just pulling off and leaving.
Stop taking your kids just anywhere that them attend any function just because they want to go. Know exactly what your kids are attending. And I feel like a lot of that would be resolved in a sense.
A lot of y'all not gonna like when I say this, but raise your own kids around your fucking business. Y'all ever heard the saying, if it don't apply, let it fly? When it comes to y'all, all y'all on here talking about, the upper room is wrong, letting kids have a brunch like that. Know your child. Example, I know for a fact that I could take both of my kids to a brunch like that. Why? Because they just be wanting to know what the experience is. We listen to music in the house. We drink apple cider. Even sometimes out of little wine glasses, little flutes. And we go to nice restaurants to eat. What's the problem with doing all three at one time? Y'all are saying, oh, you're exposing kids. Kids get exposed to shit all the time. All the time. Exposing these kids to it. Hey, look, this what it is. They gonna drink. They gonna smoke. They gonna do it anyway. So you mean to tell me because they're allowing these kids to have a little kiddie cabaret that we used to have, or go-go that we used to be in that we had no business being in, chaperoned by adults, we are promoting them being in an adult environment? How, Sway? Your child get invited, don't let them go. You don't want the bottle girls? Don't have them. But the fact that y'all are really trying to bash an establishment for coming up with a plan that works for some parents is beyond me. They found a marketing strategy that works. It might not work for you, but it works for them. It works for other parents. And it's just amazing to me that a lot of y'all that was in those kiddie cabarets, that was in those go-go's, that was in those streets, is basically bashing a black establishment, saying that they're wrong. Me personally, I don't see how they're wrong.
All right, so as you guys can see, it is definitely mixed on TikTok. Lots of different opinions. And I think, everybody stated their point of view just fine. If you're for it and you would allow your kids to go, that's on you as a parent. If you feel like, your kids would never be in an environment like that, that's on you as a parent. You have to do what works for your child. At the end of the day, I do feel like kids are growing up a little bit faster because, again, there's no kids spaces for a lot of children nowadays. There's no kids television shows, no kids music. So they're spending a lot of their time on social media being influenced by people who are twice their age, unfortunately. So this is a really interesting conversation, but we're going to go ahead and finish that conversation down below. Let me know your thoughts, tea sippers. How do you guys feel about the drama in the upper room in DC? Do you guys think it's a good idea, to have brunches like this? Or do you feel like, this is an adultification of kids and that, they should not have children going to brunches with, fake champagne and turn up signs and bottle girls and stuff like that. So I look forward to reading your comments down below. Make sure you guys hit this video with a like. Feel free to share this video and I'll talk to y'all later. Deuces.
If you want the latest news in the streets, join us and tune in for the tea. Breaking news with integrity. So tell your friends and your family. It's the Lovelyti TV show, bringing you good tea and good vibes. It's the Lovelyti TV show. Be sure to share, like, and subscribe.